I was also gonna ask you this question. What do you think is like the ultimate definition of what it means to be like a man?
Hmm. That's a great question. There's a lot of interpretations for that, and a lot of different cultures may have different meanings for that. But to me specifically, uh, it really just comes down to discipline to duty, right? So the ultimate definition for a man to me is someone who has disciplined themselves, physically and mentally, and are able to apply and practice that discipline to perform the duty that they have to perform in life. Because duty is almost always never something we want to do, but almost always something we know we have to, right? And a lot of people avoid the duty that they have in life. And a lot of people don't know what that duty is in life. And that's on you for not knowing, right? It's like you need to
Yeah.
discover that. And that's another aspect of mastering yourself, another aspect of figuring that out. But duty is not so easy that anybody can do it, and not so easy that you can wake up in the morning and just like brushing your teeth, just go do it. It takes discipline to do that, right? And so every single day is a day for training. And there's a lot of aspects of training. I don't mean just physically, but we got to mentally prepare for that. We got to spiritually prepare for that and physically prepare for that, because we may think our duty is this over here, but then this pops up in life and it is way worse than what we thought it was. And there's another quote. It's like, always prepare for the worst fight that you could possibly imagine. It's like, it's just, you're always training for the worst, but also know the possibility that you may not be able to imagine that worst case scenario, that worst case adversity, and what you actually do encounter is bigger than that. So you're always constantly trying to improve yourself to be able to commit to your duty when it's demanded of you. And so a man that can do that, commit to the duty of when it's demanded of them, to me, that is the definition of masculinity, of manhood.
I like that. I like that. I was actually gonna relate it back to something I think you said earlier about like how the world isn't like a safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like most religions, I would say have some concept of like heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, heaven obviously being like the place where everything is good, right? And then hell being the place where everything is evil, right? And I feel like the world itself is kind of like the crossroads between heaven and hell because we have good here, but we also have evil. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like this place that's kind of like amalgamated them both. And it's like you have to kind of prepare yourself for both of those. And you have to decide which one you want to live in, at least on Earth. That way you can prepare for it in like, I guess, the next life, right?
Right. It's the battleground. Like this
Yeah.
this realm is the battleground. And there's a lot of beliefs of the afterlife. But for the example that you were giving specifically, it's like, yes, you have that spectrum, that the dichotomy between heaven and hell, and then this world is in between. And so it's that struggle in between that dictates which way you go to. And that kind of brings another subject that I like to talk about a lot is, it's this world, it is a war zone, but it's a war zone between, weakness and strength,
Yeah.
if you were going to break it down. And so weakness is those degenerate virtues, the virtues seeking, comfort, sloth, laziness, gluttony. You know, you can just go through the seven deadly sins or whatever. And then on the other side is not just like goodness, right? But discipline, duty, honor. It's those other virtues that good people, people can be good, but they have to take it a step further to pursue those noble virtues,
Yeah.
right? And so this world and your life in this world is a constant pressure from the two. Like we naturally want to gravitate towards, in on my page and stuff, I talk about the slave morality, the
Yeah.
the morality of the masses, that people, it's easy to do, everyone's doing it. You won't be looked down upon if you become this, if you become lazy, if you go and you drink all the time or you eat all the time or whatever you want. You won't be looked down on by the masses, right? If you're a good person, people will respect you and like you. But when you're pursuing the noble virtues, it's difficult because the masses over here hate it. They don't want to see you climb like that. They discourage you all of the time because you make them feel bad. And so they're just like, oh, like, why are you doing that? Like, I could never do that. Why are you doing that? I feel bad because you're working so much harder than I could. It's like, that's a broad brush of these types of encounters, but people who are pursuing noble virtues are hissed at by the masses because these virtues are the virtues of divinity, right? They're the hardest virtues to obtain in life, some of the hardest virtues to define, because people don't want us to be able to define these anymore, and that's what life is the struggle between those two forces, I'd say.
Two of the words that I like that you used over there is duty and noble, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like honestly, a lot of people, at least today, I feel like are not fulfilling their duty, right? Whether that's to be a man or a woman, right? And I feel like when you don't fulfill it, it's kind of like you're kind of holding yourself back. And in a way, it's like you're not living up to your potential. This is why we have a lot of people that are unfortunately depressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though there is a struggle in fulfilling your duty, right? But if you don't finish that struggle, then there's a struggle of not fulfilling it, right?